Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is here. Hello, how are you guys doing? I hope everyone is well. How you guys doing? I'm gonna give you guys a break to get in here. Chance to, take your shoes off, warm your feet by the fire, cool your feet by the beer cooler. Whatever's most appropriate. How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are well. We got a lot of news today. Stuff has been happening. Let's see. I'm gonna get into it. Have you guys seen the news? There's been shootings. There's been all kinds of things going on. I think the shooting will wind up being gang related. That's my guess. Probably that. And by gang related, I mean crime related, not politically motivated, is I guess how you would phrase it. But we will get into it. Absolutely. Let's see what we got here. Now, I want to start with a little bit of Fox. We're going to get into some midterm talk here. It's very important. And I think we should discuss it. So that's what we're opening with. All right. Share the screen. There we go.
The threat is real. The question of how fast. Democrat socialists looking to take over the nation's liberal left party. 99 days until ballots are cast in the midterm elections. It was once considered a fringe part of Democrats. Extremists, the Democrat Socialists of America, the DSA, are now gaining numbers, gaining ground, and even gaining popularity. Critics are calling it a movement, a clear danger to America as we know it. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. The DSA calls for extreme left-wing policies, including replacing the President of the United States, replacing the U.S. Supreme Court, abolishing the U.S. Senate, defunding the Department of War, ending immigration.
Do any of you understand why they want to get rid of the Senate? Do you guys know? Like the very, very basic why they want to get rid of the Senate. You guys don't know? I'm gonna give you guys a chance to answer. What's up, guys? What's up? How you doing? What's up? Did Mustafa get vaporized? Oh god, I hope so. Nope. Remove a check on the house? Nope. That's not it. Nope. They want to get rid of the Supreme Court. So it's not about Supremes. Oh, okay. You guys are talking to each other. That's fine. The Party of Democracy wants wants a few select people to choose a president or whatever. Nope, nope. Okay, so what happens is if Senate, you get two per state, right? So you have to have most states agreeing to get something passed. It's not so in Congress. In Congress, whoever has the highest population has the most congressmen. So if you remove the Senate, New York and California control the United States because they have the most population. You understand? And even within those districts, the most populous places, like cities, are blue. That way, you don't have any equality between states. Like a state that doesn't have a lot of population but has a lot of resources can be told by, because let's say, let me give you an example. Utah versus Seattle, right? Let's say Seattle's a coastal city. Seattle's a Washington State. It has a lot of Congress people, and they also have on their side, you know, uh, California and New York. They decide that they should have a pipeline into the resources, that they should be able to tax or take some resources as a stipend, as a a aid or whatever from Utah. Let's say it's meat, let's say it's grass, whatever it is. They can vote that. Now, if it were the Senate, they only have two versus two, and you have other states which are only two per state to vote for or against something like that, right? But in the Congress, you can have the majority of the Congress because you don't have a Senate, right? The most populous states have the most power, and they can get almost anything passed.
And customs enforcement detentions and deportations, and amnesty for all illegal immigrants, among just a few things that they want to get done. The DSA co-chair, Megan Romer, is standing by the radical wish list.
Just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely. The establishment Democrats should be worried about the voters and about what the voters think and about what the constituency thinks. And right now,
Well, she only cares about the constituencies where she has the most people. Yeah, it's a move let me see. I want to catch your oh my god. I caught the wrong. This is a move to control and fund socialism. Yes. Because socialism, if it can come, has to come from the budget. And the budget is made in the Congress. So if all power goes to the budget, the Senate can't really do much.
now they have not been delivering, and our candidates are and have been, and it's resonating with voters.
I say this almost daily. Just show us who you are. You cannot push back on what you don't know. She gave you everything you need to know. That message for Democrats especially. Recent Fox News polling shows a dramatic shift in the electorate. 30% of Americans now believe the government should play a larger role in redistributing wealth.
Here's why that's a problem. To understand this, it helps to look at two halves of Congress balance each other out. The House of Representatives, which is based entirely on population, a state with millions of people like California gets 52 representatives, while a state with very few, like Wyoming, gets only one. This is not fair. If everyone, if California gets to vote on a federal law that affects Wyoming, it shouldn't be 52-1. Majority rule says that the majority can choose slavery. So if the 52 California delegates say it's okay to enslave white people, only one in Wyoming gets to say, no, slavery is still slavery. You understand? And these people will say, no, but it's okay. It's like, you can't be racist as black and you can't be a slave if you're white. That's just reparations. Right? So would you want to have California get 52 votes on that law that makes white people slaves? And how white? What if you sometimes, maybe up to brown. Oh, maybe some browns are a little too light. How dark do you have to be? Well, that depends on the state, right? Maybe New Mexico would vote in on that, but they might still vote so that 52 versus 1 votes to make slavery against white people okay. The Senate, this side, treats every state equally, no matter how big or small a population. Every state gets exactly 2 senators. For a new law to pass, it has to be approved by both. What happens if you remove the Senate? If the Senate doesn't exist, the House of Representatives will be the only group making laws because the House gives votes based on head count. States with massive populations would hold all the cards. Just 4 states, California, Texas, Florida, and New York, hold about 1/3 of all the people in the country. If there were no Senate to act as a speed bump, the lawmakers with a handful of giant states could easily team up to pass laws that benefit their regions while completely ignoring the needs of smaller rural states. The simple answer, getting rid of the Senate removes the only rule that forces big states to compromise with small states. Without it, the states with the most population would have sheer numbers to outvote the rest of the country on every single issue. See, California versus the other 48 states. It's like 2/50ths. It counts like almost as 2 states worth of people.
65% say the political system is rigged to help the wealthy. And more than half of Democrats want to see dramatic or revolutionary change in government. All of this is signaling an ideological tipping point, a growing willingness to embrace radical reform. Lara Trump is the host of My View. She's standing by to join me in just a moment. I want to begin with Alexandria Hoff with the latest from Washington, D.C. Alexandria.
Hey, Harris. Yeah, this month, the Democratic Socialists of America reached a record 120,000 members. Back in 2016, membership was around 6,000. That same year, Senator Bernie Sanders brought the term Democratic Socialist to the main stage of the Democratic Party. There's now over 200 chapters, 250 plus DSA candidates holding elected office nationwide. Stu Smith with the Manhattan Institute says a lot of this
My suspicion is this money comes from the outside through NGOs.
modern popularity could be coming from those who don't really grasp what socialism is.
A lot of people inside DSA who are maybe younger think that this is just what people would call like Nordic style socialism. And that's not really the case.
This is a naive interpretation. I want to go back. Listen to how naive this person is.
What socialism is.
A lot of people inside DSA who are maybe younger think that this is just what people would call like Nordic style socialism.
No. The younger people are listening to Hassan, are listening to these DSA chapter people promoting it, are getting riled up by protests. That's who that's who's propping up these people. Hide comment, there you go. I don't know how much this is being enforced. I would say not at all. Like that we do have Joshua. Let me see if I want to make sure I get your name right. Joshua Tiff says they say socialism because we have a law in the books against communism. I don't know how much we're enforcing that law. I honestly don't. I don't think much at all, to be honest. I don't know if there was some kind of decision on it, but I don't think it's being enforced. Now, this guy is incredibly naive. The people, especially the young people who are joining the DSA, are radicals who want to destroy America and would say yes to every one of those things that were checked off that list. That's not Nordic style socialism, which isn't socialism. Because those are still private companies that are highly taxed.
And that's not really the case whatsoever, because DSA itself is hardline anti-free market. They want to seize the means of production.
Yeah,
That's what those young people want. That's the problem, that these people have their view. This is a projection of him. He might have remembered when he was young and he had some of his ideals. Why can't we be like Norway? No. These people want the destruction of America, especially the young ones.
That's what socialism is, a system where factories and industries are controlled by the society or the government. Smith adds that the DSA currently has a rising block of very hardline members, self-identified communists and Maoists, the later being a model that promotes
This is very specifically communist art.
It's continuous guerrilla warfare and ideological purity. Unlike earlier years, the DSA now does have this litmus test for endorsement pillars that you heard affirmed with the Shannon Bream soundbite earlier. And here's what the DSA's education chair said about the idea of replacing the presidency.
We might not have a president, but what we should have is an executive that's actually chosen democratically and is accountable to the representatives of the people, right? So instead, we're envisioning something more like a prime minister.
Yeah, well, prime minister is not elected, but chosen by the government. And Harris, there's been a historical shift in the DSA.
That's a great point. You don't get to direct vote for a prime minister. That's just lying.
Founding principle when it was started in 1982 was supporting Israel. That is obviously completely reversed. We'll send it back to you.
Alexandria, thank you very much. The Wall Street Journal editorial board argues, quote, the common denominator in all of these DSA proposals is eliminating barriers to rapid radical change. The socialists want a single branch legislature that can sweep into power in a single election, dominate the presidency, and neuter the judiciary.
Exactly. Why? Because of what I told you here. It would become a place like California gets 52 votes on a law, and Wyoming gets 1.
As a check on that power as well. With those checks gone, they can impose their agenda that will be nearly impossible to undo. Lara Trump is the host of My View on Fox News. Great to see you today. First of all, just your top line thoughts about the goal here.
I mean, honestly, this should terrify every single American, Harris. What you are hearing, and you heard it there from the co-chair of the DSA, is that they basically want to destroy America. We've heard the terms fundamentally transform our country. We heard that before. These people are telling you now exactly how they want to do that. If these individuals, these socialists, and I think we should basically call them communists, get their way, America will be unrecognizable. And as you heard from the Wall Street Journal editorial board there, you don't come back from that. Whenever the power is taken away from the people.
Is this woman related to Trump? because it said she's
we
Trump
do not
something.
get
I
it
don't know.
back. Whenever they take your homes away, whenever they take your businesses away, whenever everything belongs to the government, we don't get it back. It is a really frightening prospect that so many people are falling for this, but I think it all goes back to educating the public. There's been a concerted effort not to educate the young in America right now. And if you look at the bulk of the individuals who are supporting DSA, a lot of them are young people. We have to talk about socialism. We have to talk about communism. We have to talk about why it doesn't work. Otherwise, this could be a very real prospect.
Look, what you're laying out, though, is something that is so fertile for the Democrat Party to just sit down. And if they do that, this country doesn't have that party. And that will change America first. And then all the other things kind of go with what you're saying. In a recent article, former Obama chief of staff Rahm Emanuel said the so-called Bernie bros could spoil Democrats' midterm chances. But Senator Bernie Sanders says this.
There is a strong division within the Democratic Party. You have an establishment like Rahm Emanuel, who are dependent on billionaire campaign contributors who want to maintain this.
This guy's acting like he doesn't get billions from George Soros, like he doesn't get billions from NGOs. Like he's just lying. This guy's just lying. He gets as much money.
Status quo. Then you have a progressive movement, which, by the way, what is getting these guys nervous is we are winning all over this country. The American people are tired of a rigged economy, a corrupt campaign, finance system. They want real change. They don't want Rahm Emanuel and the establishment maintaining the status quo.
You know, Laura, I think people underestimated Bernie Sanders. I mean, the party thought they had their foot on his neck when they kept him down in 2016 and then elevated Hillary over him. They didn't. He sat back in the cut. He raised proteges like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the political wing, and now you have more of them.
Well, that's right. It's really kind of amazing if you.
Like, okay, it took him 10 years. Oh, she supports the prince. That's good. It took him 10 years. Like, I wouldn't say this was his plan. I would say that the country pushed so far left that it got all the way to Bernie Sanders. I wouldn't say it was a plan. I think his plan was to retire. Here's what I think. I think the divisions that have been portrayed about the right by the woke right on the right, those divisions, I think they're fake and they're propped up by a bunch of bots. They're fake. All this woke right people, yeah, you're getting a lot of support from the third world. Those people don't vote. Where the real division is on the left.
Go back and look, you're right. 2016 and 2020, by the way, one could argue that Bernie Sanders had a lot of momentum behind him, but the DNC did not allow that to progress. They used superdelegates to ensure that he actually didn't have an opportunity to make it very far in those primaries. So what's interesting now is that if you look at this party, there is a huge rift. There is a huge rift in the Democrat Party.
He looks like that Jeff Dunham jihadist skull. I kill you.
It is all of their own doing, of course. They allowed, while they never really took it seriously, they allowed this very radical kind of fringe wing of their party to gain.
Why doesn't he comb? Has no one ever heard of gel? Is this kind of supposed to be appealing? Like, there's no one believed that he's too poor for gel. That he's too Ahmed. That's the one. Yes, Ahmed. He looks like Ahmed from Jeff Dunham, but Western. No one believes that he can't find gel. No one believes that he can't afford a hairstylist. Is this supposed to be his look? I don't understand.
Momentum, and their calculus was generally, if these people are against Trump and they are getting us attention and voting eyes on us, then they are good. But now this is where they have allowed these people to.
Okay, we have a good point here. Ahmed is better looking. Yes.
kind of overtake their entire party. If Republicans are smart as we head into November, we have to continue talking about that, because I think there are some Democrats out there, Harris, who really don't want to vote for these things. You know, you have 52% of Democrats saying they see socialism in a favorable light. Well, what about the 48%? What about the rest of them? And if Republicans are smart going into these midterms, we need to show exactly who these people are, continue talking about what they want to do.
Okay, we have an explanation here. He combs his hair with a balloon. Yes, yes. And I heard this on the Nasman Gold stream, actually.
And hopefully that splits the vote. Hopefully some of those Democrats stay home, and hopefully it's advantageous to Republicans in these midterm elections.
Look, Laura, you and I both dig into this a lot. And in doing some research over the weekend, Las Vegas, Nevada could be in play. That's a swing state. And yes, the governor there may be a Republican, but what is it going to look like when, you know, both?
We have a super chat here from EHEF saying, do you think the GOP is gonna finally learn to focus more on basic cost after all this? Like, I would say yes, but I would also say you have to remember that the swing states usually have a blue part of them, and that blue part is gonna blame all the taxes that they raised on actions by the federal state. So no matter how much we bring down the cost, you have to attack the idea that a lot of these costs aren't being brought by the states themselves. Like California is in large part very expensive because of the taxes, right? New York is very expensive because of the taxes. Sometimes this doesn't happen at a state level, but it happens at a city level. So if I was having a primary, I would focus on the taxes within this city that would be much lower or different 5, 10 miles away. That's how I would even frame it. These people are gonna tonight, when you go out to vote this November, the people here at Houston's 25th district from the Democrat Party are going to try to tell you. They're going to try to tell you that it is the federal government's fault that taxes are so high. They're going to tell you that it's the federal government's fault that gas is so high. It's going to tell you that the federal government's fault that the rent is so high. But 5 miles from here, in the 25th district, 28th district, why is everything cheaper? Because it is your local government that is driving up taxes and standing against business. And if you don't want that bothering your business and you want to bring that rate down, you got to vote against blah, 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 and for blah, 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 blah. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, you got to make it very, very local. That's why Scott Presler is good, because he looks at the local stuff that matters.
Bulk of the state is Democrat, so that's why it's a swing state. So the co-chair of DSA just held one of her, and I want to read what this is, a Buddy Tattoo Getters crowd. She said it was the largest of the 9th of them that they've held now. They are looking to that younger crowd, that fun sort of.
I would say, like I saw a comment here, I am voting only red, says Rishi. That's important, but you got to make sure you check, like, if there's 2 options on that red, make sure you get the redder one. Not the one that's an isolationist, the one that is for local policy that works for you.
The Mamdani kind of crowd, the pop-up parade of people to preach to now. And if they flip a swing state, if they start to work in those areas, what happens?
Well, that's the problem. And that's why we have to be very loud and very vocal. I want to tell the RNC, they need to get involved in this. You need the NRCC involved in this. You need every voice out there from the Republican side of the aisle, because Donald Trump can't do it alone. Look, he's going to give a rally today in Michigan. He's trying to help these candidates out, but we all have to be on the same page and singing the same chorus and alerting people as to why this is so dangerous. And we have to talk to the young people too.
Got a comment here. Says, I like Scott Presler. Been a fan of him since 2016. Like, we need Scott Presler, but we need Bubba Presler. We need, a Manolo Presler. We need Jerome Presler, Chaniqua Presler, Josefina Presler, Annie Mae Presler. Like, we need Preslers in the ghettos, the barrios, and the trailer parks. We need them everywhere.
We have to do everything we can over the next 99 days. Otherwise, you're right, Harris. What does that mean for future elections? What does that mean for presidential elections? What is the future of America if you allow this socialist ideology to take root in our country? I don't think it goes away.
Well, in Maine, progressive Troy Jackson is now officially the U.S. Senate nominee after Graham Plattner campaigns imploded. But some critics are slamming the delegation process as more of a...
What the hell is going on here? What is this? Chat, what is up with his, you know what? I'm not even
coronation
gonna
after
say it.
nearly every single vote in a last-minute convention came about. And here is Jackson himself.
I know that this is a big deal, and a lot of people are counting on me. So there's a bit of trepidation, and I want to make sure that I deliver for people. I understand how there's people out there that are dismayed, frustrated. I don't know if it's actually pushing the reset button. I think it's just making sure people know that it was always about the issues.
No. Here's the thing. The DSA is as much for Hamas and trans as the Democrats. But they don't talk about that. They talk about the economy. There's an old adage in politics. It's the economy, stupid. Like, these two are just as pro-trans as each other, as pro-Hamas as each other. One of them pretends they're not, but they're both the same. The difference is one of these two is talking about the economy and the other isn't. And that's what's getting the Democrats riled up, because they're not going to vote for Trump or any conservative. And one Democrat keeps talking to them about opening the border and trans issues. And like, I don't fucking care unless I get some money. What the DSA is saying that the Democrats aren't is, hey, baby, I got your money, so don't you worry. Hey, baby, I got your money. We're going to take it from the rich. Because the DSA has slightly a message that is about the economy, they're beating out the Democrats, whose only message up to now has been open borders, open genders, and basically Islamicize me.
Talk to me about that race.
Well, it's been interesting, I think, to watch the Democrats do in Maine what it seems like is kind of their standard playbook now, which is have really bad candidates, kind of make excuses for these candidates.
This guy must smoke a lot of cigarettes.
Allow for bad behavior, tell their voters they should vote for these people anyway, until it looks like those people can't win. Then they usher them out, coronate somebody else. We saw it in 2024 with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And look, it's a big mess for them up there. Their voters really have not had a choice. And I think Susan Collins now hopefully stands to have a better shot in this race. Graham Plattner did have a lot of energy behind him, but with this whole situation I think probably a lot of Maine voters feel like they have not had a choice or an opportunity to choose their representative.
And by the way, I mean, he was a member and a leader on the Maine Congress for years.
Oh, we have a super chat here. Says, thank you, Monkey. Great job enjoying this topic. Appreciate you. Grant, thank you for being here.
And a lot of people say they just simply don't know Jackson. They don't know him. They know a lot about.
By the way, I put the link. I don't think I told you what I was doing. I put the link to Scott Pressler in the chat. Anybody wants to follow him and wants to know, I think there is a way through him to know what's going on in your district. I'm not absolutely sure. I'm gonna check it out later. Early Vote Action, I think, is his people. And yeah, let me just put him up here for a second. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Some important things that he's doing here is that they found 65 pages of non-citizens that were going to be on the jury. When they wanted to get out of the jury, they said, well, I'm not a U.S. citizen, so I can't be on the jury duty. Oh, interesting. Now that we have these 65 pages, let's check these pages against the voter rolls. Look what happened after that. Let me see if I have the replies on. Because as far as I know, after that, they started purging the voter rolls. This is not really what I was looking for. I can't find it, but he did have a tweet earlier about that. Maybe it's in my bookmarks. Give me 1 second. Might be in my bookmarks.
Republicans on a run.
We just went over a little bit of this. Colombia is getting rid of a whole bunch of embassies. Plans to cancel plans to open an embassy in Palestine and move Colombia's diplomatic mission in Israel to Jerusalem. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on with vaccines, but because it's medical stuff, I can't really give you guys any advice on that. We went over this with what do you guys think about this movie? Right? We got Leonardo DiCaprio as Barack Obama, Whoopi Goldberg as Joe Biden, and Elliot Page as Michelle Obama. Are you guys on board? What do you guys think? Great movie, right? I mean, after the Odyssey, you got to go all in. You know what I'm saying? Would you guys watch this? I'm not finding it right now. I might have had it in my other account. But let's continue with the report. This is almost over.
Graham Plattner, though, and it's not good, which is why he's gone. Laura Trump, great to see you. Thank you so very much. Be sure to like.
Okay, that is that. Let me see what we got here. Okay. Okay, here's the thing. Like, if we're going to talk about the latest news, it's always good to check in with Jesse because he's spicy, you know, he kind of sassy. Okay, I'm getting some comments here about the movie. Oh my God, you're too much. No, no, I'm not in Hollywood. They're the ones that do this stuff. I wouldn't dream of these kind of casting decisions, but that would be par for the course for them. Oh my God, yes. Don't let the socialists steal our bananas or our banana clips. How was that movie even made? Oh, it's terrible. You know what? I wish I could read to you the ending of the Odyssey so you guys understand why they changed it.
You know how they always say you should never read a little girl's diary? Well, they never said anything about a grown man's. We got our hands on Dr. Anthony Fauci's diary. And viewer warning.
Why does a grown man have a diary? I don't understand this. I don't get it. What? What?
We're going to read from it, and it's going to make you very angry. Now, I know what you're thinking. It feels a little invasive.
Okay. I want to show you something that I saw. I'm just gonna read. This isn't advice, right? This isn't advice, but I did see some things about. Oh my God, it's here. No, it's not here. I think I had. This is something I saw. This is not advice. This is just an interesting. We're looking at an interesting post here. This is an epidemiologist. Okay, I don't know. Followed by and Robert Kennedy. Okay, so I don't know if any of this is true. This is just some stuff I find interesting.
We had 200 cancer patients. They were prescribed ivermectin and mebendazole compounded tablets, and after 6 months, 84.4% of them declared either remission, tumor regression, tumor shrinkage, or cancer stabilization. The tumor stopped growing. 84%. And now it is officially peer-reviewed and published in a major cancer journal, published by the International Institute of Anti-Cancer Research. They've been around since the 90s. And so now it is going mainstream. So this is absolutely huge.
So that's, I'm not giving anyone advice. I'm just saying this appears Joe Rogan has talked about this. Like there's some stuff that can be done. Something to do with ivermectin. I don't understand any of this stuff. And I think it's high dose 4 vitamin C linked to long-term remission. All right. Yeah, this is the guy I was looking for. Now you got to understand, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if any of this is true. Like, this is not medical advice. This is just stuff that you talk to your doctor about. So you could talk to your doctor about, having, in early cases, there are things you can do that are a little bit less invasive than full scope, full spectrum chemo. But I wouldn't dare to suggest that you don't go the traditional route. We also saw what happened to Tim Cook. Tim Cook was the guy, I think it was Tim Cook, right? That was at Apple, but he didn't want to go with the traditional medicine. He tried a lot of experimental stuff. Some would say too much, and it ended badly, which is why I wouldn't recommend for or against anything. I would say at some stages you have a little more wiggle room, right? Stage 4, I don't know how much wiggle room there is there, but do what you got to do. I can't watch this now, but I will watch it later because part of my entertainment is I love Asmongold. I think he's the Hermit King. I just love that guy, and as part of my entertainment, one of the things that gives me great joy is to see that he's doing good. And he has good friends, good relationship. This is girl Kaiser. Everyone saying that it's his new girlfriend, but I haven't seen him say that's my girlfriend, and I haven't seen her say that's my boyfriend. I think there's a lot of assumptions going on, and they get to play around with hyping the people up with thinking that. Wishful thinking. I hope they're together. I think he does deserve a little unconditional love. All right, I'm going on a little bit of a rant about homie here, Asmongold. I talked to him once. I talked to him about a game, a crowdfunded game that some people has been taking too long, but the game's been out for years. What hasn't been out is the campaign mode. And I got him on my side in front of 42,000 people when he was like basically making the opposite argument. He treated me with a lot of respect, a lot of dignity. And this is a super famous person. He was super nice to me. I was a fan before. After that, I'm kind of a diehard. Because he could have just not listened to me or put me down or ridiculed me, but he didn't do that a lot, and I'm nobody at all, and I'm nobody. So I have massive respect. This is an update from open source intel. Okay, so I'm not gonna say this is confirmed. These are reports, but and this is contributed by AZ Intel, right? So I don't know. This is not a chain that I know enough to confirm, but I will say that these are reports. I don't understand what these lights are. Situation in the streets surrounding Akali Square in Isfahan, Iran, where protesters were expected to be executed. I don't understand the lights. Ugandan mayor. Okay. All right. We'll get into this later. I think we gotta get into this. All right, let's put that up for later. All right. So sassy. I love this guy. So spicy. Mamma mia. I mean, I don't know if he's Italian. He kind of looks Italian though. Durante años los cubanos les prohibió entrar a muchos hoteles de su propio país. Trajeron reservados para turismo extranjero o de cadena. Okay, these are the hotels in Cuba, and apparently they're kind of closed. Okay, so there's some outside hotels that were operating, apparently. Whoa, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is true. I don't know. This is a report, but I don't. Don Lucre, I don't know how reliable he is. New York mayor just uploaded searchable database and Excel sheet containing home addresses of thousands of wealthy residents. That is crazy. Okay, so Visegrad is reporting the same thing. It seems to be in Isfahan, and this seems to be protesters. Okay. Homeland Security report. This is American news. 6 hours ago. Temporary protected status, exactly that, temporary for those who have terminated TPS. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That's funny. That is, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's not too late. Get $2,000, $2,600 check and a free flight home. I'm gonna be real with you. This is a lot of money in some places. Enough to like, tide you over for a couple of months of rent while you find a house and maybe get you a wardrobe and some food while you're looking for a job. Yeah, but this is the Trump commentary account, so I don't know if that's this is Cuba. Oh, they're waiting for medicine. This is very sad. Let's go back to the report that we were watching.
Reading another person's diary, but this isn't just anyone. This is a man responsible for devastating lockdowns and for funding the type of experiments that may have caused 1 million American deaths. If there's a theme from this diary, which is over 1,000 pages, it is this. Dr. Anthony Fauci is dishonest, almost always wrong, and is intoxicated with fame. As thousands of Americans were dying every day, here's what America's top doctor wrote, secretly to himself. Dear Diary, the press is going wild with me. It is not a hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable persons in the world. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. The press is still hot and heavy about me. POTUS seems to be
Hot and heavy about me. What the hell? What the hell? Yo, Vic. What's up, Vic? Welcome to the stream. No, do not let the socialists steal our banana clips. I mean, our bananas.
enamored of me.
Hot and heavy. Can you see this? Fauci over here. Oh, they're still hot and heavy about me. Ew, what the fuck?
Even though I am taking the spotlight away from him. Now, Fauci's writing, even though I am taking.
Wait a minute.
And heavy about me. POTUS seems to be enamored of me, even though I am taking the spotlight away from him.
What the fuck?
Now, Fauci's writing about the press like it's a woman he's making love to. During the lockdowns, Fauci apparently spent hours Googling himself, reading every article, even going into the comments section. Anthony was on Tyra Banks' Instagram page, you know, America's Top Model. He writes, Dear Diary, one person said that Tyra was sexy, but that I was even more sexy than she was.
Get the fuck out.
And Fauci agreed.
What the fuck?
He clicked on a petition to name him sexiest man alive. And
oh my God. Oh my God.
He memorialized that over 10,000 people had signed it. Didn't win, but as a consolation, they cast America's sexiest man alive to play him.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Holy shit. Chat, is that Brad Pitt? Is that fucking Brad Pitt? I think that's Brad Pitt.
First, I'd like to thank all the older women in America who have sent me supportive, inspiring, and sometimes graphic emails. Now, there's been a lot of misinformation out there about the virus. And yes, the president has taken some liberties with our guidelines.
Fauci kind of felt like Brad Pitt.
Oh my fucking God. That's so gross. And then, oh, there's some people protesting near you. I hope you're okay. Stay strapped.
They all wanted selfies with me, he wrote. They even wanted him on Dancing with the Stars. The Fauci-meister was enamored with the stars, who suddenly, not sure how, got a hold of his cell. Dear Diary, had a great call with Barbara Streisand. I told her that I work listening to her songs on Alexa. She really did not know what Alexa was.
Okay, that's funny. Okay, That is funny.
I accidentally butt called her later in the evening. I brought the phone over to Alexa and asked to play songs by Barbara Streisand. And when the song came on loud and clear, she started laughing and absolutely loved it.
This is, oh my God, fucking boomers. Yeah, I'm one of them.
Someone who always considered himself a celebrity, finally the doctor was getting his due. Unfortunately for Fauci, to achieve celebrity status, Americans had to suffer. But Fauci knew he was destined for greatness. Even back in 2013, he wrote in his diary that he was a rock star and that the government was trying to keep him off TV because everyone was so jealous.
This guy is a fucking narcissist.
7 years later, his time had come and he was going to ride it.
Here's one that says, I got my first dose of the Fauci ouchie. I told him that I bought his...
Who the hell is that? I mean, it's a pretty young lady.
Bobblehead, and he was super cool about it.
I saw your bobblehead today.
Did you
She looks about old enough to be my daughter and his granddaughter.
like it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was great.
PPL made fun of these Dr. Fauci prayer candles, but we got my dad one for his birthday in November. So he lit it every night, and everyone in my immediate family was fully vaccinated, so maybe there's something there.
Was Dr. Fauci busy trying to slow the spread? Well, apparently
No, not at all.
he had plenty of time to write about his face being plastered everywhere. Dear Diary, donuts are being named after me. T-shirts have my picture on them and are being sold. San Francisco radio is dedicating a song to me, coloring pictures with crayons for my picture. Me. Fauci even saved cartoons of himself, of him looking like a superhero. Hero was actually one of his favorite words. In his diary, he mentioned it 50 times. His favorite word, though, not N95 or natural immunity, those words barely uttered. It was press. Press, mentioned over 600 times. For Fauci, doing press.
I want to show you guys something. This is the Dr. Fauci prayer candle. I don't know if you're aware about, you know, I don't know if you know about this stuff. Oh my God, I forgot to hide the comment. I probably had it there forever. My bad. Yeah. See that? Oh, this is in Spanish. Let me change that. How do I, okay, English. There we go. Where were we? God damn it. I said English. There we go. Celebrity glass jar candle. Do you guys need Fauci to light the way for you?
Was like watching porn.
The single most respected voice in the pandemic. It's Dr. Anthony Fauci.
The man who's become known as America's doctor. Dr.
Oh,
Anthony
asshole.
Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease doctor.
Who are seen to
Oh,
many
he's
as a
almost coming. Look at him.
Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Stop touching yourself down
American
there.
Hero.
Stop touching
Fauci
yourself.
And the media were so attracted to each other, they took it to the next level. Tapper and his wife invited Fauci over for dinner, a threesome, at the height of the pandemic. Dear Diary, had dinner over Jake Tapper and Jen Tapper's home in D.C. Terrific couple, friendship building. And there was a second date. Dear Diary, had dinner at my home with Jake and Jennifer Tapper. Relaxed, good time. Jake clearly believes that Trump is totally nuts. Those dinner dates happened in the summer and fall of 2020, deep in the heart of the lockdown. Thousands of deaths a day at that point.
They're
Fauci had
above.
everyone quarantined.
They are above disease. They are above other humans. They are elites.
But this is what Fauci told you.
But we've got to put all those things together, Jake. We can't just wish it happening. We've got to get the vaccine. It's got to be deployed, and we can't abandon fundamental public health measures.
So not until the second or third quarter of 2021, though. Christmas is probably not going to be possible.
Yeah.
Fauci
No Christmas for
can
you.
have Jake's family over for a friendly dinner,
Fauci is the Grinch who stole Christmas. Never forget.
but you can't have your family over for Christmas dinner. Tapper's now linked to two of the biggest cover-ups in U.S. history, Biden and COVID. This was the second Christian holiday Fauci canceled. In the spring, Trump demanded that we open after 30 days so we could have Easter. Dear Diary, POTUS invited me and Deb into his inner office at the Oval and started telling me that as a Catholic, how much of a shame it would be if we did not do a classical Easter and Good Friday and Palm Sunday. I convinced him to essentially put Easter on hold for this year.
Bastard!
A month before Easter, Fauci told the country that the COVID fatality rate was extremely dangerous.
The mortality for this is about 2.5%. It's probably lower than that. It's probably closer to 1. But even if it's 1, it's 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu.
But that's not what he wrote in his diary. He said the fatality rate was actually closer to 0. Didn't matter. In his diary, he was bragging
so
about
he's
shutting
lied.
down the country.
He lied.
I spoke with Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York City, and convinced him, based on what I was saying publicly and my conversation tonight, to close the NYC schools. He had already decided based on what I was saying on TV. And I went on to tell him he should close the bars and restaurants in New York City. Fauci said he spoke to
It's having the power to get it done that I think he likes.
Newsom, who did the same thing with California. But afterwards, he was like, who, me?
I wonder if you would recommend locking down schools if you had to do it all over again.
Well, you know, again, it's first of all, I didn't recommend locking anything down.
Yes, you did.
Schools were shuttered for years based off Fauci's recommendations. It isolated an entire generation
Fucking
of children,
liar.
set them back socially, academically. It alienated them. Boys couldn't play sports. When none of Fauci's recommendations were working,
Look, this had an effect on my family, like a serious effect.
he wrote that he was losing sleep over it. Quote, what is evolving is that states that are not opening up thus far are not seeing an increase in cases. In fact, some are seeing decreases. But did he pivot? No. He called anyone who disagreed with him a moron. And the media, they saw the trend too.
What this shows is malice,
But they still treated him like a hero
negligence.
for shutting down the country for a virus he knew wasn't.
No, he's losing sleep that the places that are opening up are having less cases instead of more. And if they have less cases, he can make less money off the stock because people are not going to believe in the vaccine so much because apparently you don't need it.
Wasn't that deadly. And that definitely didn't affect.
Let me roll it back.
When it alienated them. The schools were shuttered for years based off Fauci's recommendations. It isolated an entire generation of children, set them back socially, academically. It alienated them. Boys couldn't play sports. When none of Fauci's recommendations were working, he wrote that he was losing sleep over it. Quote, what is evolving is that states that are not opening up thus far are not seeing an increase in cases. In fact, some are seeing decreases. But did he pivot? No. He called anyone who disagreed
I don't
with him a
understand
moron.
that sentence because I heard it backwards. Let me see something.
But, in fact, some
States that are not opening thus far are not seeing an increase in cases. Okay. Some are seeing decreases. I don't understand this. Okay. That would mean that locking up works. I don't understand. I heard this backwards. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm glad I went back. Thanks for asking.
Some are seeing decreases. But did he pivot? No. He called anyone who disagreed with him a moron. And the media, they saw the trend too.
I don't understand
but
this
they
whole line.
still treated him like a hero for shutting down the country for a virus he knew wasn't that deadly. And that definitely didn't affect children. And then he forced everybody to get the shot. And here's how he sold it the first time. Watch.
If you're vaccinated,
Okay, I think he's talking about an increase in the worsening of the students, like social health cases where the students are having social problems. That's the best interpretation I got. but it's still iffy.
You don't have a risk. And that's the reason why we say it's as simple as black and white. You're vaccinated, you're safe. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk. Simple as that.
In his diary, he knew that wasn't true. I'm well aware that many people who are vaccinated are still getting infected, and that worried me a lot. But Fauci was wrong
Okay, so the vaccine didn't work.
yet again, but went on TV every day and told everybody to just shut up and get vaxxed. If you question this, you were silent.
So you have to understand that he profited from these companies that sold these vaccines.
The government even got Silicon Valley to take down jokes about Fauci, like he was the Prophet Muhammad. Americans had real doubts about how this virus came out of China. Fauci said it was from some weird animal in a wet market.
When I look at the scientific evidence, I don't see any evidence that's concrete at all that it's a lab leak, even though a lot of people talk about it. I still think it's a possibility, but I haven't seen any evidence.
Do you know why it's a wet market and a lab leak? Does anybody know why, chat? Do you guys know? Let me know if you guys know why it's a lab leak and a wet market. Does anybody know? See if anybody chimes in the chat.
But in his little diary at the time, Fauci wrote that a dozen of his top scientists believed it came from that sloppy Wuhan lab. This was the same lab that Fauci funded. This was the lab doing the risky gain-of-function research on bats that Fauci was obsessed with. This is the liar that CNN was fangirling about while America.
So there's two possibilities here. One, the lab people went to the wet market. Yes, Aaron has it here. They blamed the bats. Yes. But if you're poor in China and these bats are dead and you can sell them at the wet market, you don't care what experiments were done with them. You want that money. So you're going to take those experimented on bats and you're going to sell them at the wet market. Wet market, fresh bats. That's right. Fresh pangolin, maybe. Maybe fresh pangolin. I saw a South Park documentary about that.
Americans' lives were getting crushed. Even doctors who used to have Fauci's back now want nothing to do with him.
Is having a reputation totally in the toilet at 85 years, does that hold him to account for what he was responsible for?
The Tony Fauci I saw in those emails is not the Tony Fauci.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that question.
Responsible for at 80.
Do with them.
Look at the question that he asks. Because it's a false choice. He should go to jail. Look what this guy is suggesting.
Is having a reputation totally in the toilet at 85 years, does that hold him to account for what he was responsible for?
Does having a bad reputation hold him to account? No, jail holds him to account.
For
The Tony Fauci I saw in those emails is not the Tony Fauci I knew over the years.
Fauci's never uttered a single regret.
He's acting like it's a different person. The Tony Fauci. Who the fuck is Tony Fauci? Fauci. His name was Fauci. He talks like an Italian. He doesn't talk. He does not talk like a French. Fauci. Have you ever heard Anthony Fauci? What is it? What are these people talking about? He needs to go to jail.
Totally in the toilet at 85 years, does that hold him to account for what he was
No,
responsible
that doesn't hold
for?
him to account. Send him to jail.
The Tony Fauci I saw in those emails is not the Tony Fauci I knew over the years.
Fauci's never uttered
Look, I could be mishearing it, but it sounded like he said Fauci.
a single regret. Even Trump says he makes mistakes.
No regrets.
One of those mistakes, he says, was listening to Fauci. But Anthony gave himself an
That's
A+.
the biggest one.
Dear Diary, most people.
I like it when you watch a MAGA rally and Trump is talking and Trump says, "We made the vaccine, we made Operation Warp Speed," and everyone yells boo. Have you guys experienced that? He stopped fucking talking about him because it came to understand, oh, MAGA is about MAGA. It's not about me. Like, if they don't like what I say, they're going to tell me to my fucking face. And I love Trump. But if you go to his speeches, especially in the last campaign and maybe recently, I don't think he talks about the vaccine. Especially after Tulsi dropped the bomb on that. But go to the speeches. Anytime he talked about Operation Warp Speed and the vaccine, he gets booed. Boo! Like, they hate it. People think it's a cult. No. The left is a cult. MAGA knows. They're not a lockstep, motherfucker. I hate that motherfucker vaccine. They hate it. It's hilarious. It is hilarious.
People expressing outrage that the Trump administration would be so bumbling and incompetent to try to discredit the most credible scientist in the world.
We got some pure bloods in the chat. Lots of pure bloods in the chat. Never got it. Good for you, homies. You guys are pure blood. Your blood is worth more than you know. All right, right now. Especially if you think, what was the one? O positive? Oh my God. You got the best blood. That's expensive blood. You don't just give that at the blood bank. All right. You got the spice melange in your veins. You got unvaxxed O positive.
I must say, I did extraordinarily well. Now, the death rate in the U.S. was way higher than most of the developed world.
You basically got gold blood then if you got O positive. That's the spice melange.
But Fauci was lobbying other scientists to nominate him for science awards. Awards that gave him $1 million. And did Fauci receive royalties from the vaccine? Did he have a financial interest in lockdowns and vax mandates? We don't know.
We do know. Yes, he did.
His diary does suggest, though, that he didn't want the vaccine approved before the election because it would help Trump. And he may have played a role in delaying it. Is this the diary of a humble doctor following the science and working tirelessly to help the country get through a pandemic? Not really. Looks like the diary of an insecure villain who got his 15 minutes of fame and then tried to milk it. Should a doctor be proud when 1 million Americans die on his watch? Small businesses, bankruptcies, stock market plummeting, social isolation. You really want to be famous for that. Now, Fauci knew he blew it, and he's desperately seeking fame and glory to treat a guilty conscience. On Wednesday, we're going to hear some answers when he testifies in front of Senator Rand Paul's Senate committee, first thing in the morning. Watch it here on Fox. Fauci was pardoned by Joe Biden, and now it looks like we know why.
Why do you need a pardon? I'm looking for something here. In case you guys need a holy Fauci candle. Yeah, my typewriter, look at me. Oh my God, my old-timey typewriters. My Trying to find some of the latest news. We might watch this Nick Fuente video. He begs Hashem. Hashem, I think Hashem is another name for Yahweh, for God. I just told Gemini you won't tell me because I'm black. I'm sorry. I have to talk to ChatGPT. Sometimes I gotta cuss at it. As you guys can hear, my keyboard is very clicky. I like clicky switches. All right. He had his holding had major vaccine manufacturers, some of the largest corporations in the world, pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. Finally, I had to argue with it to give me the answer. Okay, let's watch this. Now, we've been watching Nick for a while. Now, we say maybe he wants to be Jewish. Do you think Nick Fuentes wants to be Jewish? Like, I already saw this on I don't know if you guys have seen this, though. Have you guys seen this? What are the odds that Nick Fuentes wants to be Jewish? That now that anti-Semitism is open and the third world has internet, he's like, no, I don't want to be in this group.
Once again, I'm getting called Jewish by Dan Kazarian, who is in fact Jewish himself, which is delicious. He is admittedly 12% Jewish. His dad's Jewish. And he's saying, but your dad is Jewish too. And it's like, what's your point? Like, and you're Jewish as well. And I saw Sneeko said this too. Sneeko said you're Jewish. He said his ancestors were in the Holocaust. It's like, so what?
He always looks like he has a yarmulke on.
Even if that were true, what's even the point? And, you know, I've been called Jewish a lot in my long and storied career by a lot of different people for different reasons. Some people say, you talk too much about being rich. That
Fuentes wants to be ready to bend in the direction the wind blows strongest. Yes. Yes. Oh, you talk about being rich. That's Jewish.
That's Jewish. You're telling us that we should get our money up and stop being poor. That's Jewish. Your last name is Fuentes. It's like, that's just a Mexican name.
Fuentes means fountain in Spanish. Or fountains.
People say that's a Sephardic name. It's like, Well, there's like 5 million people with that last name. But you know what? For the first time in my career, I'm taking it as a compliment. For the first time in my long and storied career in this movement, I wish it was true. People are saying, you're Jewish, and I'm like, you know what? I sort of wish I was. I wish I could claim that at this point. I don't want to be like you niggas anymore. Listen. If the
Hey, whoa,
movement,
whoa. Hey, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. He said it. He's the one that said it. I didn't say it.
the movement, if the movement is Stu Peters, who's like a drunk, and it's Dan Kazarian, who is this manlit, fake poker player, Instagram celebrity has-been, and it's Dr. Jang and Sneeko, and who else? It's like, if that's the anti-Semitic movement, then like, Hashem, make me Jewish. Like,
Hashem, make me Jewish.
yeah, make me Jewish. Please let me join you.
This is what happens when you're an anti-Semite. Most of the people around you are stupid. You were like they say, in the world of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. But these guys are blind, deaf, and dumb. And you just let the third world in because now they have fucking Facebook and Instagram and basically little computers in their hands.
I'm sorry. I was just kidding. No, it's true. We were just jealous. We want to be like you. It's like, if that's the movement, then we're cooked. Look at the Jews roster. The Jews have Larry Ellison. And the Jews have George Soros. And they got Adam Sandler. These people don't fuck around. They got Jack Black. They got Benjamin Netanyahu. They got some heavy hitters. And even on their bench are the goy. They also have the top goys too. They got Donald Trump, Elon Musk. They made Ye apologize. Like, their deck is stacked. The bench is stacked. And then you look at the anti-Semites, and who do we got? Stu Peters, who like crashed his four-wheeler drunk and then got arrested. And you got Ian Carroll, okay, enough said. And you got Sneeko and Dan Kazarian, Dan Bilzerian. He joined the fray. Now he's an anti-Semite. Jake Shields, who legitimately has brain damage, like punch drunk brain damage. It's like the lineup is a joke, you guys. It's like Lollapalooza for retards. Like, you're announcing the lineup of anti-Semites, and it's like, please, I can't take any more. Stop. We don't want any more anti-Semites.
They don't want, you have to understand, anti-Semites are retarded. I'm never going to tell you to trust this guy. This guy is not trustworthy. But even among them, because we were talking about, the left is divided. Yes, the left are the ones that are really divided. These people that are on the right pretending that they're anti-Semites, it's very few of them, and they're very stupid. They either pretend to be on the right and they're from the Middle East or fucking Africa or fucking Pakistan and Malaysia and I don't know where the fuck in the Middle East they're fucking bot farms, or there's very, very few of them. The fantasy is that the right is very divided. The reality, it's the left that's very divided.
Imagine you go back in time like 4 years. Nobody was anti-Semitic. Nobody knew about the Jews. Nobody knew the Jews did 9/11. Nobody knew the Jews were doing these things. And you're thinking, like, who's going to be the celebrity endorsements for anti-Semitism? It's like this MMA fighter. It's like, remember Dan Bilzerian from 2015 when he was on Instagram? And it's Sneeko because, like, of course, he follows every fad. And it's this, like, COVID truther alcoholic who beats his family, Stu Peters.
Okay, so this is he's basically calling out anti-Semites. You got to understand that we're not on his side. We're just listening to who the anti-Semites are. Who are these voices of the woke right? Let's have him, who hates them because he's their competition, break them down for us.
Like, don't we have anyone better? Like, we used to have Kanye. He doesn't want any part of this anymore. It's like, I don't know, guys. I think, and I think it's time to pack it up. Hashem, can we get that guy to wrap the tefillin? Is he still there? Is he still in Chicago? Did he catch his flight yet? I think, do we have any time for a last minute tefillin wrapping, please? So yeah, they're calling me Jewish, and it's like, damn, I wish. We're stuck on this side. We're stuck on the wrong side. Stuck on the wrong side of creation, on the wrong side of God's promise. No, but I'm just kidding a little bit. We're just having
I think that's interesting. I think that's very interesting. The woke the woke right is imploding. They are not very numerous. And I think it's good to know that. I think you should be a little bit happy or a little bit less down. I mean, get out the vote. It's still a problem. But you should understand that the anti-Semites are retarded, and among them, the slightly above temperature IQ anti-Semites are starting to notice.
I think one
appetizer, because if you own property in his town, he knows exactly where you live. The city just posted a searchable list of every homeowner on the hook for his new tax. Names, addresses, 30,000 of them. A socialist mayor
30,000 basically this is a kidnap list. This is a stick-up list. He basically took everybody who makes a good amount of money and he doxed them.
handing out a Rolodex of the rich in a city that
Okay, Aaron. Aaron wants to save his soul. Look, as a Christian, I'm obligated to hope that he repents. But repent is like people say, oh, if you're a Christian, you can just be sorry. No. Repent means be sorry every time you did it and never want to do it again. Not be sorry you got caught. Be sorry every time you did it and you didn't get caught. So he has to like actually repent for the shit he did. And will he? I don't know.
just watched a CEO get gunned down on the sidewalk. Sounds like a hit list. You got a problem?
It does sound like a hit list.
Problem with it? Go protest. It's what the city's there for anyway.
I think one of the bedrocks of our city is protest. It is something that has been a part of what makes our city so special, that New Yorkers can express themselves, whether they are in support or in opposition, no matter on whatever topic.
Protest? The city runs on capitalism and cocktails. Appetizer, because if you own property in his town, he knows exactly where you live. The city just posted a searchable list of every homeowner on the hook for his new tax. Names, addresses, 30,000 of them. A socialist mayor handing out a Rolodex of the rich in a city that just watched a CEO get gunned down on the sidewalk. Sounds like a hit list. You got a problem with it? Go protest. It's what the city's there for anyway.
I think one of the bedrocks of our city is protest. It is something that has been a part of what makes our city so special, that New Yorkers can express themselves, whether they are in support or in opposition, no matter on whatever topic.
Protest? The city runs on capitalism and cocktails. Appetizer, because if you own property in his town, he knows exactly where you live. The city just posted a searchable list of every homeowner on the hook for his new tax. Names, addresses, 30,000 of them. A socialist mayor handing out a Rolodex of the rich in a city that just watched a CEO
This is basically Maoist shit.
get gunned down on the sidewalk. Sounds like a hit list. You got a problem with it? Go protest. It's what the city's there for anyway.
I think one of the bedrocks of our city is protest. It is something that has been a part of what makes our city so special.
I feel
that
like it
New
looped.
Yorkers can express themselves whether they are in support or in opposition.
They want to protest, then pull you out to have a struggle session, then kill you and take your stuff.
No matter on whatever topic.
Protest? The city runs on capitalism and cocktails. Appetizer, because if you
Okay, that's kind of on a loop. This is more Ms. Kip stuff. Let me see if we have more breaking news. Because if not, we're gonna cut it at 1:30. Okay.
I don't think.
Have candidates on the ballot this year.
I don't think so, because it's not where the American people are at. It's where a small urban elite group is. I saw a study the other day that said these are mostly urban voters, and it was interesting, highly educated but under earning. So they feel like something has passed them by, and it has. It's common sense. Common sense has passed them by.
Not so common.
That's probably why they can't.
Dude even agrees, not so common.
Candidates.
Damn. Okay, the capitalist pyramid, trillionaires, billionaires, millionaires, rich, upper class, middle class, lower class, poverty, you can rise. Socialist pyramid, communist government, connected insiders, extreme poverty. This is China. Basically, this is China. See what else we got here. This is reports we've seen before. Fauci smelled it and also dealt it. Ex-Fauci's private diary revealed estimated case fatality of 0.2 to 0.3. Later, he took Congress under oath that the virus had a high mortality rate. That's a jailable offense. This man has a case of Jew derangement syndrome. Yes, he does. The defense was not able to provide evidence against the Tates and asked, why would the defense provide evidence against the Tates? That doesn't make sense. The defense was not able to provide evidence against the Tates and asked for another 60 days. It would be for them, not against them, if they're defending these people. Lost all respect for Megyn Kelly.
Make
Okay.
Ben. It's very sad to me as somebody who's known Ben forever and helped make Ben 100%. He became a star on my show, The Kelly File. I'm very sorry to see this happen. And
Ben who?
like
Ben
there is
Shapiro?
absolutely no cause to go run around policing the guests on somebody else's show and trying to diminish some.
I don't care. This is not policing. I'm not calling you directly and saying don't have this person on before they're on. I don't think that's what happened. I think they're making fun of your guests and you're very angry about it.
Somebody who is as interesting, but and I mean this complimentary, benign as Piers Morgan. Piers
Oh my God, fuck you. Sneeko needs some help. He's clearly having a mental breakdown. Asmongold finally calls Sneeko to debate his views. Hey, my favorite Kafir Asmongoy. I didn't think you'd agree. I don't think he did. I don't think he agreed. Oh, this is a fake. Okay, so this is. Oh my God. This is what he. Okay. Sometimes.
Asmongold, 1 second. Actually going to agree to this.
He has a friend who uses AI to turn himself into Asmongold or turn himself into Nick Fuentes. This is so pathetic. I think this is the real face of the guy. But this guy, uses a face filter to make himself look like this. So watch out who you're talking to out there. Darlene Graham. This is the person taking Lindsey Graham's seat, his sister. President Trump is 100% correct. The Save America Act is top priority. I will stay here as long as necessary to get passed and signed into law. I came to Washington to fight for the people of South Carolina to deliver our conservative agenda. She can sign. She can vote on everything he could vote until the primaries, and she'll probably win. John Thune should not allow the United States Senate to leave town, so he should not allow the Senate to leave, basically, because the primaries they wouldn't come back in time to do the primaries. To have the Save America Act. Let me just read it. Okay, I'm just going to read this. John Thune should not allow the United States Senate to leave town until it passes the Save America Act, or far better still, terminates the filibuster, where Republicans can then quickly pass everything they ever dreamed of, including a full and deep-throated. Oh, I'll say that again. The Republicans can then quickly pass everything they ever dreamed of, including the full and deep-throated Save America Act, the budget, and the ever-looming debt-ceiling disaster of 1929. The Democrats will do it on day one and can't believe how quickly they got with Senate leadership. Remember, the stupidity always brings losing and death. President Donald J. Trump. I think he's right about that. Absolutely. The Tates are being prosecuted by, text notes, devil-worshipping pedal demons. Okay. I hate Piers Morgan, and I'm not reading this. Trump towards GM. Okay. Oh, so you were here. We had someone in the chat that was at this GM plant. These are GM military vehicles. Well, they're not armored. I can tell you that right now.
Forced labor.
I think this is important.
Here in the United States, for 100 years almost, we've had a law that says if something is made overseas with forced labor, slave labor, child labor, you can't ship it into the United States. It's prohibited. And so we stop this at the border.
Oh, so we're going to stop everything coming from China then?
We prevent it. We're the only country in the world that has this kind of law and effectively enforces it, believe it or not. And so what we've done under Section 301, which is a law that the Supreme Court has pointed to, that the president used before to put tariffs on China, we investigated 60 economies to assess whether they had these types of laws and whether they implement them. And we found that only a handful had this, and they didn't implement them. And then the rest of them didn't have them at all. And so we're taking action to make sure that our workers and companies can compete on a level playing field. So if we're shipping into Australia,
saying they're nice, had a great time, got to shake Trump's hand. Fabulous.
Or some other place where they allow the import of goods with forced labor, we're going to make sure that we have a level playing field.
So do all of the 60 countries do forced labor? Like force people to?
So I'm glad you asked that, because it's not really opining on whether they're doing forced labor in a given country. Like I said, in America, we block the import of goods with forced labor. Most of these other countries, they don't do that. So whether they have forced labor in their country or not, they may be importing from.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Okay, so let's say you sell electric cars in, I don't know, France, and you don't use forced labor, but you get your batteries from somewhere in Africa that does use forced labor. Then I'm not buying your fucking French car, because there's slave labor in your line.
place like China, goods that are made with forced labor. In the United States, if there are solar panels or batteries from China or other places that were made with forced labor, we stop that. But in other places, other developed economies, they don't do that.
So what do you say to people who say this is just another way to get around the Supreme?
Very much yes. Apple iPhones, yes. I'm sure there's slave blood. There's probably right now on my iPhone some Islamic slave blood in my hands. I'm not gonna say it's ironic. I'm not gonna say. You guys didn't hear me say it's ironic. I'm not gonna say it.
Court ruling, and you're just trying to figure out how to do it.
So every time the president has taken a trade action in this term, in the last term, he's always trying to get at unfair trading practices that are incentivizing offshoring, making it so our workers can't compete with foreign workers, and making our trade deficit explode. Earlier in the term, we had a tool under IEPA.
The slaver becomes the slave. Boom.
Is what we call it, an emergency power to try to get at all of these issues all at once. The court said that statute couldn't be used, and it pointed to other authorities like Section 301. And so now, Brett, we're going country by country, unfair trade practice by unfair trade practice to try to target and eliminate these things and level the playing field.
I think that's important. I think that's very important. No, we cut China by 40%, especially since Trump made that a very important part of the tariff process. We are drastically. Do you believe Anthony Fauci should be held accountable for his role? Yes. Yes, Rand Paul. You're very annoying, but I agree on that. Okay, they're done in Venezuela. We're done with the humanitarian aid in Venezuela.
No spine. It's a
Okay. This is a medical report in. This seems to be a John Thune medical report. Let's see what we have here.
After reviewing John Thune's x-rays, I can confidently confirm he has absolutely no spine.
Oh my God.
It's a medical miracle he can stand at all.
Jesus Christ. I don't understand what this is. Huh. Did someone ask Grok? That red spiky starburst train on the roots toilet is likely an octopus stinkhorn fungus or a similar weird parasitic growth. Almost certainly a prank. Flush it and run, don't touch it. Well, fine. This is Grok's answer. And Grok is like fucking crying emoji here, which is kind of funny.
Updated complaint, which for breaking news.
Okay, I'm going to read it. Breaking news. The failing New York Times, after 10 years of harassment, slander, and libel, just failed again in their desperate attempt to have our powerful defamation lawsuit against them dropped. As we requested, the highly respected judge has called for an updated complaint which will lay out in extreme detail all the ways in which the Times has repeatedly and consistently acted with actual malice and defaming me, my family, our great MAGA movement, and America itself. We will continue to hold the Times and their comrades in the mainstream media accountable for publishing, promoting, and dealing in fake news. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Holy shit. Powerful words, Mr. President. Bro, look at his teeth. Why did you let him in? Don't you know by looking
Yeah,
at that
loads.
that's a great cost to the NHS?
You say I'm not a Muslim?
I know what you.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
You keep saying that off camera, but you're not a Muslim. Why do you say that?
Well, what makes you say I'm not a Muslim?
I know what you are, just like I said off camera.
Well, first of all, it's a little hot in here, man. Let me just unzip this thing real quick. You don't want to break character, brother. Come on, man. Yeah.
Gosh, I'm gonna start doing African spells on you.
But to answer your question,
You guys see the size of that thing? Jesus Christ. This guy is Matans, right? Oh, I did? I see chat. What do you mean? You can't see chat? I see chat. I didn't remove the chat. Oh, I left the message up there. I do that sometimes. I'll leave the you guys got to tell me, chat, if I leave the message up. I forget sometimes.
that's a Muslim.
Yeah,
name.
but
Yeah.
gosh, I'm gonna start doing African spells on you.
But to answer your question, my name is Maksud Agajani. That's not a Jewish name. That's a Muslim
Yeah,
name.
but that's not what a Muslim would wear.
No, he wouldn't wear this. That's
You
true.
betrayed your people.
Well, that's because I'm half Jewish, half Muslim, but I was raised Jewish. My father's
Half
Muslim.
Muslim. What does half Muslim mean? I understand the whole thing where the Jewish people will say it's a people and also a religion, but the Muslim people don't say that.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
You keep saying that off camera.
That was wild, wild chain. That chain goes hard. That chain has a zip code. Did you guys see that? That was amazing. Well, chat, I think I'm gonna call it here. End it on a little fun trip right there. Before I go, I want to tell you guys. First thing I want to do is bless your health. Bless you all. Bless your health. Bless your wealth. Bless your plans, your homes, your loved ones, your family, and everything you touch. Peace.